The southern end of Manhattan in New York City. Eric Shawn's outside the courthouse where apparently the judge has just threatened jail time for the former president if there is another violation of a order. Now, Eric, do I have that right? Hello again to you.
You have that? Yes, you exactly have that right, Bill. Judge Juan Merchan looked at the former president and said that a punishment of incarceration could be imposed if the former president continues to violate the judge's gag order. This morning, Judge Juan Merchan held the former president in contempt of court, that just in the last 20 minutes, and fined him $9,000, $9 grand, $1,000 each for 9 different times that Judge Merchan ruled the former president has violated the judge's gag order by attacking witnesses in the trial on True Social, as well as 2 times on the campaign website. And that could go up even more by 4,000, because on Thursday they're going to have a hearing on 4 more attempted violations, alleged violations of the gag order, when they have a hearing on that on Thursday. So as it stands right now, potential threat of jail time for the former president if he continues to attack witnesses and violate the judge's gag order. This morning, the former president arrived, and he had some choice words for this trial, saying it should never have been brought. And for the first time, we saw a family member accompany the defendant, Eric Trump, the former president's middle son, who's also an executive at the Trump Organization, was there. First time a family member has sat here. The witness back on the stand right now is Gary Farrow. He was a senior managing director at First Republic Bank. It was Farrow who set up the shell company for Michael Cohen that Cohen used to pay off Stormy Daniels. Farrow is laying out the financial document trail for the jury that prosecutors say was made to hide the money that Michael Cohen funneled to Stormy Daniels to keep her quiet during the campaign. So that testimony ongoing right now. And the president did get some good news, though. Judge Merchan said he will be able to attend his son Barron's high school graduation on May 17th. There was some controversy on that. So a carrot and a stick from Judge Merchan to the former president today.
Okay, that'll do it for this minute, right? Eric, thank you. Eric Shawn in Lower Manhattan.
And here on set with us is law professor Jonathan Turley. It's so good to have you. Thank you for being here. We've been waiting for this gag order announcement. Right. We got it, and President Trump got it too. 9 out of 10 violations, $9,000, and there could be more to come.
Yeah, it's basically what we expected. They weren't asking for jail time. The threat is lingering out there. The judge wanted to put this Damocles sword dangling over his head. It's there, and the thread's getting thinner, and that's basically what the judge is saying. Unfortunately, I don't think the judge has re-examined his order. I think it's poorly written, and I also think it's way too broad. And the inclusion of Michael Cohen in that order is absurd. I mean, you have someone who is making money campaigning against Trump and attacking him on this trial, and the judge is letting him speak, but not for the president to respond.
Here is the ABC News headline on that. Michael Cohen's cashed in on the Trump trial with TikTok live streams, and it could be a problem. We talked to the ladies last hour about that. Do you see this as a problem, and could that be reversed perhaps by this?
Well, perish the thought that Cohen was not being entirely truthful when he said he'd make no more comments. The fact is that this is an individual who just was recently hit by a judge saying that he's a serial perjurer, that he's gaming the system.
And I want to get back to former President Trump's New York criminal trial. It's making history. I mean, everybody had passed on this case for 6 years, including the current district attorney who's so thirsty to get Trump, Alvin Bragg. But of course, it's a political year. So he reaches back, grabs this case, and here we are. Right now, they're in a break, and they're set to resume very soon. We have producers and journalists in the courtroom, so there are no cameras, but we'll get minute-to-minute updates on this. This morning, bank executive Gary Farrow took the stand. He was set to do that. It was right on time, and he was a senior managing director at First Republic Bank in 2016. That's where and when Michael Cohen allegedly opened shell companies used for the payments at the center of this case. He follows a quick testimony from longtime Trump secretary Rona Graff. And before that, ex-tabloid publisher David Pecker spent 4 days on the stand. Pecker testified mostly about buying stories and not publishing them in order to quash bad press. Stories not about this case, but they're salacious, so you know, thirsty, this case. Anyway, he also testified that he did do the same thing for other celebrities. Oh, are they going to go after all those other people too? I'll hold my breath. Senior correspondent Eric Shawn is outside the New York State Supreme Court right now with more on this. So, Eric, they're in the short break. Bring us up to speed.
Yeah, the former president, just arrived back into the courtroom, sitting down after this recess, and this proceeding will resume. This after Mr. Trump was found in contempt of court. Judge Juan Merchan has fined him $9,000. That's $1,000 each for 9 different violations of the judge's gag order, in which the judge said that the former president attacked witnesses like Michael Cohen and others on Truth Social and his campaign website. And the judge even threatened, if Mr. Trump keeps it up, threatened to send him to jail. Well, the court proceedings continuing in a moment from now. That witness that you mentioned, Mr. Farrow, has now finished his testimony for the morning, and he is done. Trump has said that the gag order is a violation of his constitutional rights, but prosecutors have branded his attacks a threat to the witnesses and proceedings. Here's what Judge Merchan ruled, saying, quote, "The court will not tolerate continued willful violations of its lawful orders, and if necessary and appropriate under the circumstances, it will impose an incarceratory punishment." That's jail. The trial, as I said, resumed with Farrow back on the stand. He's finished. The former senior managing director at Republic Bank set up the shell company for Michael Cohen. The prosecutors said Cohen used to pay off Stormy Daniels about her alleged affair with Trump. Farrow said the money was designated as a retainer for Cohen and said if the bank really knew it was for political purposes or may have been for a porn star, that account may not, he said, have been allowed to be opened at all. And while the trial was going on inside, outside, supporters from the New York Republican Club loudly rallied in support of the defendant. This is Michael Cohen, who is expected to be the star witness here. He said Trump's fine, in his view, is meaningless, telling Fox News, quote, "The imposed fine is irrelevant. Judge Merchan's decision elucidates that his behavior will not be tolerated and no one is above the law." The president may have been fined for $9,000, but he did get some good news from Judge Merchan. The judge said there will be no trial on May 17th. That's important because that is the day that the former president's son, Barron, will be graduating from high school. You may remember there was some controversy, the former president claiming that the judge would not allow him to attend Barron's graduation. That is not the case. The judge will now allow the former president to attend Barron's graduation in Florida on May 17th.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
It's not about justice, it's not about agenda, it's not about mobilizing people, it's about dialing for corporate dollars. These two parties have sold the U.S. government and the American people to the highest bidders.